You know, this is a little different than, I've got a standard camera, not a phone. But you got to pay attention to the road. I mean, you can't be looking at texts and looking at maps and looking at all kinds of other crap. You got to know what's going on. It's like when that crow flew out in the road. I actually didn't think it was a crow, and as big as it looked to me like it was one of them damn vultures. You know, that's like a 10-pound bird. You hit that, man, you're in trouble. You got a broken car. So, not to mention killing the bird. So, right here's a place where I once got pulled over. My wife had an Oldsmobile Achieva. The license plate on it was B-O-O-G-A, Booga. That was my wife, Wanda. That was the name she put on the car. We loved that Achieva, and it screwed us hard at about 80,000, at 75,000 miles. It screwed us hard. But we got pulled over. I got pulled over right here because I saw the cop coming, and we were on one of our legendary trips to Charlestown, and I saw the cop coming. I saw his lights come on. He went past us. I pulled over, and he walked up to the car, and he asked me, he said, "What are y'all doing? What's going on?" And I said, "Well, we're going to Charlestown to lose some money." He says, "Well, you're going too damn fast." I said, "Yes, sir. I kind of get that. I definitely get that message. Well, slow down." I said, "Yes, sir." And my wife was being quiet, which was appreciated. Because I got a ticket with my wife in the car one time on a HOV lane that I thought was you could be on, okay? And it was HOV3, okay? My wife was with me, and I was in the car, and I was driving, and I came off the ramp at Woodbridge, and there was a cop, because they do ramp duty. That's how they catch you. They do ramp duty. They check the number of people in your car, and if you don't have 3, they pull you over. And the lady pulled me over, which I just pulled over. And she talked to me, and I was talking to the police officer, and I was just going to tell her the truth, and I was going to hope that the lady was going to let me go. And boy, my wife spouted out at the cop something like, "We just got on up in Springfield." And I saw the look. It was a lady cop. I saw the look on the lady cop's face. I went, "Oh no." And from that millisecond on, I knew I was screwed. I wasn't mad. I just told my wife, I said, "Honey, next time, please just let me talk to the cop." I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but in the background is the West Virginia and Virginia mountains. This is where the first place where you get to see it. This is farmland here. This is like really pretty farmland. Some of my wife's friends live in the houses we were just passing by. People that she knew, she always used to talk about them when we came up this way. And this is a drive that we used to take just to get away from our jobs, get away from the house, get away from, and we'd go up to Charlestown and we'd have a little bit of fun. I would lose some money. She would usually win some money. Women are like that, I mean, it's just amazing how a woman never, they get excited, but they don't bet with emotion. Some of them. I mean, my wife didn't bet with emotion. She was actually always looking at what she could win, and how to keep it. She was very shrewd with her money. But this is a nice little drive here. I'm gonna look at this time one more time here because I need to time these segments on this chip. I think I'm going to have enough video to get us all the way up to Charlestown. I might have to change the battery once, which is fine. The other day when I did the Let's Just Go Somewhere video, I actually wound up with like 15 minutes or 14 minutes of battery left on my first battery at the Sheets. Now here, coming up here is a Fredericksburg landmark. I believe this is it right here. You're going to see a great big skating shoe here on the right-hand side. And this used to be a skating rink. It used to be a major place for all the people from Fredericksburg to get out of and come on down here and just have some fun and let loose. And they used to drink beer, and they used to raise hell, and they used to have fun. I'm going to turn it this way a little bit. You can see the shoe, and that's a church, and in the back is where the thing used to be. I'll turn it back now, so I think I got it turned right. So anyway, that was a place where a lot of people used to go and used to have a lot of fun. And you know, it's changed now. It's all businesses now. Right on the right-hand side here is a place called the Flying Circus Air Show, and that's where they take old World War I style biplanes, and they go up and they act like it's the Flying Circus. And it's on Saturdays and Sundays when they do that. It's very cool because if you're driving your car down the road here, you get a free show. Now, obviously, you can't be driving and watching, but you know, I have at times pulled over the side of the road and just watched them go. So this is all farmland down here. It's just, I mean, I really don't want us to lose Virginia farmland, and I think that farmers get a very, very raw deal in the way they're treated, because you know, they're it. Without our farmers, we don't make it. You know, we don't have our food. You know, and people talk about, well, you know, we can buy it from overseas. Like, are you crazy? You can't buy that from overseas. So our Virginia farmers are awesome, and all our American farmers are awesome, and they deserve to be protected. And you know, the big banks right now in America, all of this farmland is being bought up by filthy rich people, and it's for their own political purposes. And it's really kind of scary, actually, because we got to have food to eat, people. You know. So this is a nice drive. It's a nice Sunday afternoon. Like I said, I screwed up and I watched that damn race. I should have never watched that. I should have got out of the house and drove up to Washington, D.C. and took you all through Washington, D.C. But of course, I was rooting for my guy, good old Fernando Alonso. I was rooting for him, and he came through too. He screwed up. He got a 5-second penalty. He finished the race with 5.1 seconds ahead of the next guy, and then the people who rule the sport said, "Oh no, your pit guy put the jack on the car 0.01 seconds before the penalty was up." So now your 5-second penalty is a 10-second penalty, and they did that at the end of the race. So they made sure they knocked him out of the third place. But what a mess. So anyway, this is, I don't even know what the hell the name of this town is. I know it goes back to Remington. I don't think this is Remington itself. It might be Remington, Virginia, right here. But they've got some stores here. They got some, like, got the Little Caesars, and they got the little hole in the wall country store up here on the right hand side. And I'm going to show you a place up here on the left hand side. And I was telling you in the last video that I did, the Let's Just Go Somewhere video, I said they've been building like crazy and on farmland. And something that really blew my mind about this place up here, right here, is the amount of flooding that goes on up here. Because, you know, it's not, there are no big rivers up here. I mean, this is mountainous. This is mountain terrain. I mean, I know they've got like three different sections of Virginia. When they talk about the geology of Virginia, they got the coastal, and then they got the, I don't know, it was Tidewater, Piedmont, whatever else, Appalachian, whatever they call it. And each of those sections concerns the topography of the land and where the water flows, where the water winds up. Well, this is a pretty cool little intersection here. You got your 7-Eleven, you got your Popeyes, you got your Exxon, and a brand new Sheetz. This is a brand spanking new Sheetz, and man, is it busy. Woo! They are making money here. But this place floods like crazy when it rains. When it rains bad, because the water has nowhere to go for the amount of water that comes into it. And the place on the left-hand side you're going to be looking at here. Now, the place on the left-hand side you're going to be looking at here, where there's this farm, this barn. Behind that, you're going to see a housing development. A brand new housing development. And this is school on the right-hand side, obviously. But on the left-hand side here, it's a brand new housing development that's built on a floodplain. This entire area is a floodplain. I just couldn't believe it that they were allowed to build those houses there, because, believe it or not, that flat area there, I've seen it like a swamp when it rains. And so those homes are going to have a continuous problem with drainage unless the county comes down and tells the builders, you got to improve the drainage out of this entire area. So I don't know. I mean, it just blows my mind. And when I look at this and I go, how does it make sense to build a home on a floodplain? It doesn't. But somebody bought the land and they paid somebody off in the county and they went in there. And if you notice, we're coming up the hill out of a bowl. This is a bowl. This is a great big bowl. And what happens when you put something in the bowl? The water goes to the center of the bowl. Well, those houses are in the center of the bowl. So, anyway, as you can see, people don't screw around up here. We do get down the highway. The speed limit here is 55. People do 70. But when you get over this hill, the speed limit goes to 45, and people still do 70. Gee, I wonder who that is, Phil. But like I said before about the police, don't blame the cop when you're doing 70 and he gives you a 25-mile-an-hour speeding ticket, because he's just doing his job. And the reason for the 45 down here is because there are people coming in on the left side of the road and on the right side of the road, and it's just blatantly not safe to have people doing 70 through here. So, I mean, I get it. Right now I'm doing 55. Right now I'm doing 45 into 45. I might be doing a little bit faster than that. I don't know, but I mean, I'm not looking at my speedometer right now. But anyway, but you can't be sailing down through these areas, because, like I said about that one cop in the last video about let's go somewhere, man, they are getting crafty about where they sit. They're not, a lot of times in the past they had these particular spots that they like because, well, for number one, no cop wants to sit where it's dangerous, I mean, it's just not something they like to do. Number two, cops are responsible for their cars. So if they park their car in a place that requires them to like bounce off of a curb or something like that, they get yelled at for that shit, because the people in the motor pool come back and say, hey man, this cop's tearing this car to pieces. I can't put it back together enough times. You need to tell this officer to stop beating the car to hell. So they're responsible for the cars. That's why a lot of cops, everybody says, well, why don't you take the car and why don't you hit the bad guy? Well, because they're told not to do it. Because each one of them cars costs $50,000 to $75,000 to $80,000. They're not like a regular car. They're a special built, special ordered vehicle. So that's why they don't like to do that. So anyway, like I said, around here you never know where the cops. Oh, we just passed by Clark Brothers Guns. I meant to tell you all that. Clark Brothers Guns, you can back up the video, is one of the best gun stores in the Virginia area. But it is kind of a hole in the wall. They've got their own, something that makes Clark Brothers Guns better than any gun store in the area is they got their own shooting range. And if you buy your ammo and your targets from Clark Brothers Gun, then you sign up for a membership at their shooting range, which is, I believe it's free. I don't think I paid any money for that. But they just check your license, make sure you're old enough, and make sure you're not an idiot. And then you go out to the shooting range in the back of the store, and it's a great range. It's outdoor, so obviously when it's raining, they do have covered stalls. And if you come Monday through Friday, I'm telling you, man, that is like one of the best ranges you will ever go to, because it's not busy. You get your choice of lane stalls. It's run by usually what's veterans, people that are experienced in firearms. The commands are very clear. The commands are very clear. I want to buy one of those Honda Fits. But the commands are very clear. And you just obey the commands, and you set your target up, you shoot it, and act like an adult. It's a nice place to go shooting, and you'll never have to worry about, unlike being, going on somebody's property and shooting a gun, you never have to worry about somebody hearing noise and calling the police, and the cops coming and go, "Why are you shooting over at the dude? I'm just target practicing." And depending on the officer, they'll just say, "Look, you got to stop. We had complaints." Or you might get somebody who's not so understanding. So going to a shooting range is actually a good idea. It's a lot less, costs a lot less than going to court. So now we're on Route 1529. We're heading towards Warrenton, Virginia. And Warrenton has a lot of stores in it. And they just put a brand new intersection up here, which is a game changer. This was actually one of the best investments I think that the Virginia Highway Department ever made in a highway. Now, this road that we're driving down, if you look on the other side, the oncoming lane, on a Friday, that will be stopped traffic. I mean stopped traffic, going back 4 miles to the intersection back there by Clark Brothers Gun Store, because of all the people trying to get around Springfield and Washington, D.C. heading south on 95. And it does have a tendency to, it will move, but there are roads you can turn on here if you have Google Maps, and they're Virginia back roads. Now, somebody would say like an RV towing a car, you can't really use these back roads, but if it's just you in a car, with your family or whatever, these roads are fairly safe. You go slow, you just follow the GPS, and it takes you. These back roads have some beautiful countryside, and you don't have to sit in the traffic. But we're coming up on Warrenton, Lord Fairfax Drive intersection, and this is one of the best investments they ever made, because it used to be a red light. And one night I used to work in Chantilly, Virginia. I worked there for 20 years. I used to do office furniture. So I worked for a company out there. And coming back, I used to come this way because I used to go out 66 west, and then I would come in at the Plains, which is the Plains, Virginia, and then I'd come over here and I'd come down this way. Or sometimes I just come out Route 15, which would just bring me out this way, straight out this way. This is the intersection I'm talking about. This whole complex is brand new, and it's absolutely wonderful. This is absolutely, we used to sit here forever, and now we just cruise on through here. And that's because somebody, in the Virginia Highway Department said, we can do a better job here. We can do better stuff here. And everybody wants to dump on the Highway Department. They want to blame the Highway Department for, the traffic's so bad. Why can't they do this, or why can't they do that? Well, you know what? The land is owned by other people now. This had to be planned. As a matter of fact, 50 years ago, the Virginia Highway Department and the Maryland Highway Department put forward a plan for not one, but 2 beltways around the entire area. And you know what the politicians did? The